If we don't have the use of tariffs, we have no national security. This country will have no financial security, will not have national security. And the people that brought the lawsuit are people that are aligned with foreign nations that are now being treated fairly as opposed to just ripping us off and ripping us asunder. So, but if we are not allowed to use what other people use against us, there's no defense. It'll be a disaster for America. That's why I think I'm going to go to the Supreme Court to watch it. I've not done that, and I had some pretty big cases. I think it's one of the most important cases ever brought, because we will be defenseless against the world.
In a historic decision, the United States Supreme Court has overturned the sweeping tariffs imposed by former President Donald Trump. This ruling dismantles a cornerstone of the previous administration's trade agenda and reasserts Congress's constitutional authority over commerce and taxation. The tariffs, which targeted goods from steel to consumer products, strained relations with allies and disrupted businesses nationwide. The court's decision is more than a policy reversal. It's a powerful legal statement about the limits of presidential power. Years of legal challenges from American businesses culminated in this verdict, validating their concerns about executive overreach. The ruling underscores the judiciary's role as a check on the executive branch, ensuring actions taken in the name of national interest follow the law. For importers and manufacturers, the immediate effect is relief from burdensome duties. But the decision also opens a complex chapter of financial and legal challenges. Now, Congress and the administration must collaborate on a new, constitutionally sound framework for U.S. trade policy. The Supreme Court's decision scrutinized the statutes President Trump used to justify the tariffs, particularly Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act. The court found the administration's use of national security was overly broad, serving as a pretext for economic policy, rather than genuine security concerns. Public statements touting the tariffs as a revenue source contradicted the administration's legal arguments, undermining their case. The justices concluded that imposing tariffs as a primary revenue tool amounted to levying a tax, a power reserved for Congress. This ruling reaffirms the separation of powers, clarifying that presidential authority in trade and national security has limits. Legal experts see this as a necessary correction, ensuring future presidents cannot unilaterally impose wide-ranging taxes under vague justifications. The decision demands a more collaborative, constitutionally grounded approach to trade policy. The Supreme Court's decision has triggered a financial aftershock. The government must refund over $100 billion in unlawful tariffs to importers. This dwarfs any previous refund in U.S. history and poses a monumental logistical challenge for the Treasury. While importers will receive refunds, consumers, who paid higher prices, will benefit only indirectly as costs fall. For thousands of American companies, these refunds offer a vital infusion of capital, potentially spurring investment and growth. However, only the companies that brought the lawsuit will see immediate refunds. Others must file new legal claims, creating a backlog in the Court of International Trade. This impending flood of litigation will take years to resolve, straining the judicial and executive branches. The government must now establish a clear, efficient process for verifying claims and distributing billions. Tracking payments made over several years on thousands of products adds to the complexity. The scale of this financial and administrative challenge will test the capacity of our legal and financial systems. The end of the Trump-era tariffs is set to boost the American economy. U.S. manufacturers will see lower costs for raw materials and components, making them more competitive at home and abroad. For consumers, the removal of tariffs should gradually lower prices on goods, from appliances to clothing, effectively acting as a tax cut. This increased purchasing power can stimulate further economic growth. The ruling also brings stability and predictability, encouraging businesses to invest and expand with greater confidence. By reopening markets, the decision fosters competition, driving innovation and efficiency. Consumers will benefit from more choices and better prices as both domestic and international producers compete. The long-term economic benefits of renewed competition and stability are likely to be substantial. While the Supreme Court's decision is a win for importers, securing refunds is a complex process. Only the companies that brought the lawsuit are guaranteed immediate refunds. Thousands of others must file their own claims. This has triggered a wave of litigation in the Court of International Trade, creating delays and uncertainty for businesses, especially small and medium-sized firms. The government faces the daunting task of verifying trillions in import transactions and calculating precise refund amounts. Justice Samuel Alito warned that as litigation drags on, the total payout could balloon far beyond current estimates. The Treasury must budget for these massive payouts while managing administrative costs. There's no playbook for a refund process of this scale, and the efficiency and fairness of the system will be closely watched. The outcome will directly impact the financial health of thousands of businesses and the broader economic recovery. With the Supreme Court's ruling, future administrations face a much narrower legal path for imposing tariffs. Broad claims of national security can no longer justify sweeping trade actions. Instead, the White House must rely on more specific statutes with stricter requirements. This shift will require greater involvement from Congress, revitalizing its constitutional role in regulating commerce. New legislation may emerge to modernize trade laws and clarify executive authority. Any new trade actions will face immediate legal scrutiny, demanding strong evidence and clear legal justification. The decision sets a higher bar for executive action, ensuring trade measures are well-reasoned and lawful. This new reality encourages a more collaborative, bipartisan approach to trade policy. The era of unilateral sweeping tariffs by executive order is over. Legal scholars hail the Supreme Court's ruling as a vital reaffirmation of checks and balances. It sends a clear message: the executive cannot wield economic powers reserved for Congress. Politically, Democrats see it as a correction of executive overreach, while Republicans are divided. Some worry about weakened negotiating leverage, others support constitutional principles. Internationally, the decision is expected to improve trade relations and restore U.S. leadership in global commerce. The ruling marks the start of a new era in U.S. trade policy, one defined by legal scrutiny, congressional involvement, and deliberate engagement. While the refund process is daunting, the long-term benefits of a predictable, constitutionally grounded trade framework are immense. The decision proves that robust economic policy and the rule of law go hand in hand. This is a pivotal moment for America to balance economic strength with its founding principles.